Hello and welcome to Cross Blitz Dev Talk. I'm Digital Hamster, Community Manager for Cross Blitz, and I'm joined by...
I am Phil Giarusso, and I'm one of the developers of Cross Blitz.
We're here today to talk about our next major update for Cross Blitz, which is a new Fables campaign called A Perilous Pilfering. So Phil, can you tell us more about this new campaign, and most importantly, the new hero that is introduced in this campaign?
Yeah, so this is Quill. We're on the character select screen here, and basically Quill is an expert thief, and he's all about sneaking around, trying to steal stuff, trying to make money. He's actually in debt, so his whole shtick is trying to get enough money to get out of debt, but in the process of trying to get out of his debt, he keeps staying in debt. So it's this ongoing, never-ending cycle. Yeah, so basically at this point in the story, Quill is with his golem pal Gizmo, who people might know from playing Tusk Tales.
Yep.
He's a little robot guy. And he's with another character named Ransack Rupert. He had this tip about this chest that was full of treasure, and it ended up being a false tip, and it wasn't treasure at all. It was just a bunch of potatoes. So now Quill and his companions are trying to escape because they've actually triggered an alarm when they went after that treasure, so now they're kind of on the run.
All right, so we can take a look at Quill's starter deck
right
in this first battle.
Yeah, so the Quill starter deck has a little bit of all the archetypes, which is usually what we kind of do for all the starting decks for the main heroes you play as. But yeah, so Quill's starting deck has a lot of these rogues, the salty rogues, which are a great 2-mana unit because you can pick any target to attack. So I will play one of those, and it's great because you can attack the hero directly, the enemy hero.
Oh,
which is super good, and you can attack your own units too. So if they have a death effect you want to trigger, you can do that as well.
Okay.
So it's a really versatile unit. Yeah. And now I'm probably going to play Rupert. Or I could show off Raining Knives. So both of these are great cards. So Raining Knives will deal 1 damage to all enemy units, and you have to draw a card. And then you have Rupert, who's also great. So like when you put him down, he'll attack instantly because he has Hothead. If there's a unit, enemy unit in the same lane. And he has Plunder, which is a really great keyword that basically if you kill the enemy you're attacking and the character survives, then you get that extra plunder bonus where it says gain +1/+1. So like if I put Rupert down from this guy, he'll attack instantly, and he gets the buff, and now Rupert's even heftier of a unit. You can really just build him up if you keep taking out weaker units with him.
So it does stack. Okay.
It's stacked, yeah.
Well, that's
Plunder will trigger every single time you kill a unit with that character.
Impressive.
Yeah. But yeah, now we're out of mana, so so now's an even a cooler time to use Raining Knives because there's so many enemy grunts here.
And they're all one.
And they're all one, yeah, so they're done. Yeah, so basically these are Quill's 4 archetypes. They each have some pretty cool, unique stuff. The first one here is Bolt Buster, and this has to do with using golems and blueprint spells. So basically, golems are a unique class that you can cast blueprints on them and them only. And a blueprint is basically a spell card that modifies the minion. So if it's a shield blueprint, for example, and you play that on a golem, they now have barrier instantly.
So could we go to like a fight, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we haven't spoken about this, but how did they end up in a casino?
Well, this casino, which is known as Glimmer Glow Casino, is a hidden underground casino that's made for the wealthy elite.
Oh.
And so when they're trying to escape, Rupert heard rumors about this place. He's like, guys, I know a place we can hide out. Let's go to this underground casino I know about. So So yeah, we're going to use the Golem deck for this. I have 2 relics equipped currently for this deck. The first is the bolstered module. So every time you use a blueprint on a minion, they also get +1 health. That's really, really good.
Wait a minute. So if I use 3 blueprints on the same minion, he gets +3 health?
Yep.
Oh my god, that is...
It's really, really good, yeah.
That is.
And then we have
so
Workshop Table. So after your first friendly golem dies each turn, add a blueprint to your hand. So like this is a pretty reliable way to consistently get
and it's any random blueprint.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Any random blueprint. So we'll start by playing Junkbot, and he's a really good 1/1 because every time you play him, you get one random blueprint. So he's a great way to generate those too. So like this in combination with the Workshop Table, you can get so many blueprints.
Alright, so if you're gonna play this, what was the name of his build again?
Boltbuster?
Boltbuster, there we go. If you want to play Boltbuster, you should always, like, have a lot of blueprints in your hand. That's how you're gonna get strong.
Right, they're kind of like the lifeblood of this, of this deck. And the thing is, you can't build a deck with blueprint cards in them already. You have to generate them by playing golems or using relics or whatnot.
So you're saying I can't go to like Cardinella and buy an actual blueprint card?
Exactly.
Okay, they're all generated by either golems or relics, and okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I just played this guy here to block these, but I can also cast Barrier on him.
Oh, and it costs 0 too.
It costs 0
because of his special ability.
Yep, and he gets the +1 health from
that's
the bolstered module. This guy's cool because you can redeem a golem minion, and then they get a buff after you take them.
And like these 3, are they already part of your deck, or are they like just random cards you might not already have?
They're just random golem cards, so like it could pull from outside your deck. So for me here, I mean, I'm pretty attracted to Drivel here because if you get off his Riff effect, which means you play a spell card while he's on the board, he'll cast 5 random blueprints on
and blueprints are spells, so you're already using blueprints. So
right, yeah.
It's
so
perfect.
So he's really good for a golem deck because it's really easy to get a spell card to trigger that effect. Like this guy's brand new, Augmentron. He uses this new keyword called merge. So if you place him on the board, you can then select any other golem unit to merge with him. Okay. So if I grab this Tinkertron here, he merges with him and he gets all his buffs, all his stats, any blueprint effects you have, you get that too. But like the cool thing about him too is that because Tinkertron wasn't slowed when I merged with him, he gets that effect of not being slowed anymore, so I can actually attack with him that same turn I merged.
Oh, so basically you can just skip cooldowns with this.
Right, if you have another golem unit who's not who can attack already. I'm trying to go for the best combo here. So if I put down Gutspot, he's also great because when you put him down, every time you play a new golem minion, he gets a random blueprint cast on him. So if you can keep him alive, he can get a lot of buffs. I mean, if I play another Gutspot, he'll get buffed. Because he gets the random blueprint from playing another golem minion. And then if I play him, they're both going to get a blueprint, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because...
This infinite stacking buffs, like, this is...
It's pretty cool.
Like, if this was, like, the enemy playing, I would just be like, you are kidding me right now. This is...
There are some enemies that have golem decks, yeah.
Yep. I can't wait.
So, let's fight this guy. I'm going to use Ransack Rogue as my deck. So, this deck is all about using cards that your opponent has. So, you can basically... Yeah, so like we can look at it here, actually. This is a very good overview of this deck. So like cards like Swipe and Membership Card, you can basically get cards from other factions, or you can redeem cards that your enemy has in their deck sometimes too. And I also have this Golden Stein, so every time I trigger a plunder effect, which is like what Rupert has here, where he got the buff earlier when I was showcasing that in the other deck, I get health. So
Alright.
I can also heal myself too when I'm triggering these plunder effects, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so basically, this deck's all about using cards from other Cross Blitz factions, which is cool. So like, if you have an understanding of how all these different decks in the game work, you can kind of like play to that, and you can use that knowledge to overcome your opponent. And you have access to so many cards you wouldn't normally have as the Fortune faction, you know. And we haven't even touched on this mechanic yet, which is this entire Brigade Trap mechanic. So basically, this deck also has a lot of cards that will put these Brigade Traps into the enemy's deck. And so when they draw this, it'll auto-cast, and when it auto-casts, it'll call one of the Ambush Brigade guys to join your side of the team. So, like, Rupert's one of those guys, so there's a chance that if I put this in his deck and he draws it later, Rupert might appear on my side of the field as, like, basically like, almost like a free minion.
Oh,
you know?
Okay,
so we have this little guy, Brigade Cadet. So basically when he dies, he'll add one of those Brigade Traps I was talking about to the opponent's deck. So it's like a very reliable way to get those into your opponent's deck. And you kind of want to like spend the early game trying to get as many of those Brigade Traps into the opponent's deck, so later on in the match they keep pulling them. And then your board is filled up with like powerful minions, basically. Right, okay, so this is one of the cards I was talking about that will basically grab a card from the opponent's deck. So when I say grab, it's more like cloning. It's like a copy of a card. So you're not actually going to take it away from them, but I can get a card that they have. But it only works if I plunder them, so I have to kill the unit with them. So if I cast this on this guy here, it should kill him because he has 2 HP and it does 2 damage. So now I get to redeem a card from the opponent's deck. So it's almost like you get to use their cards against them in a way, or at least their play style against them, because I'm not actually taking their card away from them. I'm basically cloning their card. Cool. So he just drew one of the traps, and now I got a new Rupert on my side of the field. And so if you can get the Blitz Burst off, it calls all the Brigade members and Quill onto your field instantly. I've been able to play enough cards from other factions, now I can do this Blitz Burst. There's Quill.
Oh, there we go.
And there's the rest of the gang. So Quill is a super powerful card that you can't have unless you use that Blitz Burst. It's the only way to get Quill on the board.
Okay.
But he makes it so plunder effects trigger twice. So if Rupert killed someone, he'd get that buff twice, which is really good.
That's amazing.
If Heister Henry killed someone, he'd attack the enemy hero twice. So it's really strong.
Oh, so does everyone from the brigade have a plunder effect?
Yes.
Oh, does that even better? Yeah. I can understand why this is your favorite. Favorite
it's so
deck.
fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'll use a different deck for the next fight. So this deck is all about placing traps and then capitalizing on those traps with like various minions you have that get buffs or like attack the enemy if a trap is either like triggered or like on the board, which is pretty cool. And the huge thing about the trap deck too is the way you kind of secure a win is by using traps to disrupt the enemy's game plan. Because if they're trying to build up to some combo, but you keep turning their minions into cluckies or making it so their spells get negated, they can't really ramp up to what they're trying to accomplish. So one of your main minions for this deck is the Tinker Tot, and every time you play him, he'll draw a trap from your deck and then reduce its cost. So it's like a really good 1/1 minion. So here we have Block Beam, which when they play a minion, this will turn it into a clucky. So they basically kind of lose out on their entire minions' stats, their abilities, all that stuff. So it basically negates almost that minion. Now I'm going to put down Magitech's Scholar. So if a trap triggers, she's going to buff my other units. So I'll put down Block Beam, because I'm fairly confident he'll put down another minion next turn, which should trigger this trap.
Nope.
Yeah, trigger that. Yeah. Cool, they all get the buff. I mean, I kind of wish he played one of these guys. Oh! Now, granted, he already had barrier, so it was kind of a waste, but they still got the buff because the trap triggered, and she granted them those buffs. And there's Chimebot, also really good. Every time this thing takes damage, an entire new trap card is added to your deck, and its cost is reduced. So you can basically generate, technically, I guess, infinite traps if you can keep this guy alive and he keeps taking hits. Oh man, I got my Blitz Burst. This is good.
Okay.
Every time a trap is triggered, it goes up, and then once it's fulfilled, you can transform all the enemy minions into cluckies, and then you merge bombs into them. So like Tinker Bomb here.
I'm sorry, you merge bombs into what?
You basically are
Hold on.
merging a bomb into a chicken, and then when the chicken dies, it blows up and does damage to the enemy. So I'm going to use the Blitz first. So now they're all chickens, and then when they die, it's going to deal 3 damage to the enemy hero.
Alright.
And then I'll place down Trap Technician. So basically, every time a trap is triggered when he's on the board, he gets +2/+2. So he's kind of like the Magitech Scholar character who was buffing my other units every time a trap is triggered, but instead this guy gets buffed every time a trap is triggered instead. All right, I want to jump to the next chapter. I'm using the Glimmer Glow deck archetype now. This is the 4th one. So this is all about earning this special resource called Glimmer, and then if you have Glimmer banked, you can then use all these cool other abilities with your card.
So this is for players who like to save up resources, I guess?
So the thing is the resources with Glimmer, so like Glimmer was in the game before, but we've kind of overhauled how it works. Before, Glimmer would carry over between turns, and it would also act as armor too. So like every time you got hit, it would reduce your Glimmer count, but it would protect your HP. But we got rid of that because we felt like it was making armor less cool because like Glimmer was almost armor but better.
Yeah. So now it doesn't act as armor at all?
Doesn't act as armor, and you lose it after each turn. So you want to try to capitalize on it during that turn because you won't get to keep it. Later on. So right now, we're going to begin by playing this Gobblegum Well. And if we have one Glimmer banked when combat starts, he'll get a boost. So like if I play this Glimmer card, which costs 0, I'm going to bank 1 Glimmer. Yeah. I'm going to draw a card. So now I have this 1 Glimmer here next to my name. And then if I begin, he gets buffed. So like you get access to all these cool extra effects if you know how to spend your resources properly. And and he had that relic, right, that he attacks me.
Wait, but
at combat start.
There actually was an animation of him with the trident.
Attacking. Yeah, I know.
That's new, right?
Yep, it's new.
That's
it's
so
crazy.
cool. That's so cool. Sorry, I just had to comment on that.
Yeah.
Are there any other ways to get Glimmer apart from those?
Yeah, so like using the spell card is probably the easiest way, right? Because it just instantly gives you some Glimmer, but there are other cards that will generate Glimmer. So for example, this Lucky Flip I have because I have this relic here, the Lucky Coin. So at the start of your turn, add a Lucky Flip to your hand if you don't have one. And then this card, Lucky Flip, I get to choose if I want to either do 2 damage to an enemy minion or if I want to add 2 Glimmer to my hand. So this is like a really great way to basically get consistent Glimmer. It does cost mana to use this, but I actually will take these 2 Glimmers. But they cost 0, so if I wanted to just like play these immediately and draw some new cards, I could.
So you can actually choose the outcome. It's not an actual like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like a trick coin where like the person's kind of like cheating or just like, I'm gonna get whatever I want.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Elda's really good. When you play her, she'll deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, but if you have 2 Glimmers, she'll splurge and then deal 4 damage instead. So I should be able to do this turn because I have enough Glimmer.
That's a huge buff, like from
It's
splurge.
a huge buff, I know.
Right.
This Glimmer Gearbot guy, he'll basically automatically bank 1 Glimmer when your turn starts. So like you get like, almost like a free Glimmer if he's on the board.
Okay.
Which is pretty good because there's all these uses for for Glimmer. So this is pretty great too. This lets you redeem a legendary minion from your deck, and then like, and like how the doubloon worked, it'll bank Glimmer equal to that cost of that minion. So if I take either Poe or Grub here,
yeah,
I'm gonna get
7 Glimmer. Yeah,
7. Yeah,
all
and
that
now, and now I have the
for
Blitz
2
Burst.
mana. That was a pretty good deal.
So like, making sure that S rank bounty card works well is like, you have to make sure you actually have legendary minions in your deck, or else it's not gonna do anything useful, you know.
Of course, yeah.
So we can use this. It summons the Gotcha Machine. So it's basically a minion. It's an animate, so it can't attack, but it has pretty high stats. And every time you bank Glimmer, add a Fortune card or a Clucky to your hand. I'm gonna play Clone Curator and clone my Elder card. So it basically creates 1/1 copies of that card and puts it back into your deck. So if I draw her again, even though she'll have worse stats than her normal card, I can still kind of like use her cool effects, you know, even though her card's weaker.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So Clone Curator is like a really great card depending on what you decide to clone. And you can clone the enemy minions too. Like if you had minions up here, I could have selected one of those instead if I wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, so really versatile card.
Yep, super good. Oh. All right, I'm making a comeback. I thought I was going to die for sure.
Happens a lot in
This is the power of money. This is the power of money. You know?
Power of money. Yep.
It can buy you life.
Alright, so I think we've pretty much covered all the different archetypes in Quill's update. If you have anything you wanted to say to the community, Phil, I'll let you put in a few words now.
So yeah, I just want to say like a big thanks to the Cross Blitz community for, you know, playing the game, supporting the game, providing feedback, reporting bugs, all that stuff, super helpful to us, and we're constantly reading it and, you know, updating things internally to make sure this feedback is like, we want the feedback to be incorporated into the game. We do the best job we can to do that. Sometimes we can't put everything we need, and sometimes there's other game design factors to consider, but like, we're always listening and we really appreciate that. We've been working on tons of stuff behind the scenes, and so yeah, more content is coming. We're trying to go as fast as we can. So yeah, just look forward to all this new stuff coming, and I think you guys will be pretty happy with what's on the horizon.
Yep, and if you are excited for new content and can't wait to play, we actually have very good news for you. We have this new beta branch on Steam. You can opt into the beta branch and actually try our new updates before they actually go on the public branch. And it's the case for this update that we've been talking about for who knows how long after the edit is done, but you can basically play Quill's storyline right now on the beta branch on Steam, and we look forward to reading your feedback that you can post on all our different social media channels, Discord and Steam, etc. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe if you want to see more of these in the future, and have yourself a great day.